Good morning. Look at that
Good
smile.
morning, Gloria.
Good morning. Good morning, world. Good morning, everyone in the United Kingdom. We are back. And today we are honored again to have Karen Shearer as my co-host. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, I've already been to work this morning and come back, and yeah,
It's
so
non-stop,
all
isn't
good. And
it?
it's a beautiful day here, an
It's
absolutely beautiful
lovely.
day. So
Lovely. We got the sun yesterday. I was out in the garden. I'll have you know, sunbathing. It was like 19, 20, and apparently today it is. So cold old Britain's warming up just for the bank holiday weekend. Welcome everybody to Open Minds. We simultaneously, I hate saying that word, um, run live with YouTube. Please share and like the show and get it out there, the information. Today we have a wonderful show, don't we, Karen?
yes,
Eric Mitchell has returned, and today on my auto cue, Eric will be talking about his new documentary that will visually share with us his UFO experience he spoke about on Sunday, the 9th of May, and his perspectives on current events regarding the Pentagon releasing military footages of the UFOs and how they just don't know what they are. I say no more. We're really excited to have Eric back on the show. And just to let you know, next week we have another amazing experiencer, Ray Dove, and she will be here sharing her contact experience and the positive impact this has had upon her. So I've got to ask Karen, where's my Chris? What have you done with Chris?
well, because I knew Eric was coming on, I made sure Chris scheduled his working.
That's it. It's the way to go. It's the way to go. And especially when Maria Wheatley comes back on in a few weeks, he's
Yeah,
going to work. It's going to be the goddess days, trust me. Anyway,
yes.
okay,
Unfortunately, you had to go to work today,
I
but
know, I know. I mean, we live in it's reality. However, we have you, and I'm sure he feels like he's sort of getting out of a job. But we're hoping to have Chris back next week because Ray Dove, we will go live next Sunday at 5 p.m. I'm sure Ray is in California, so the time is vast, as it's not today between us and Eric. However, it's very early in the morning for Eric. So, on that note, Karen, could you please let the lovely Eric out of the naughty room? Good morning, everybody.
Ah, thank
there you
God I'm
go.
on a. It is very early. It's 5 a.m. here. I had to get up extremely early. Worked until almost midnight. So Gloria, you got to know I love you. I turned down several interviews this week at a decent hour just to get a couple hours sleep and wake up in the middle of the night to say good morning to you. So.
I know you love me, Eric. We've got a connection from back in the day, them late nights chatting and on video about what was going on. We are extremely grateful, and so is our audience here in the UK. So, Eric, here we go. Are you ready, everybody, for this one? Before we go into your documentary and why it was created and what you're doing with it, I would like your perspectives on the current events regarding the Pentagon saying to humanity, yes, UFOs are real, but we don't know what they are. Over to you, Eric.
Oh gosh. When things started happening to me, I had no idea what was going on. I sure as heck didn't believe in UFOs. I didn't believe. I mean, that's just we're taught as children to believe that's crazy talk and all that. So, um, gosh, this is a really long story short, but someone from the Pentagon was deployed, Lieutenant Colonel, to oversee what was going on with myself, my children, my neighborhood. This was out in the open in front of everybody. It wasn't me laying in my bed and seeing shadows in the room. It was these objects were coming down into my yard, and people were scared. They were packing up. They were moving. I found out by happy accident that this person was stalking my family. I tracked him to the Pentagon. I looked at a full dossier of his career. I found out about OSAP. I found out about ATIP, and ultimately the aviary, which were a lot of bird names, about 200 people in the CIA that are involved in this whole thing, which led me to the 5th floor of the Pentagon called the Phenomenology Desk. And it did cause a lot of trouble in my life, finding these things out. People around me, as you're aware, Gloria, I don't know if we want to talk about how gruesome that got for people around me, and how long lasting that was. But I was approached in 2014 after I did a speech talking about all these things. And I had a senior intelligence officer talk to me about, I believe October of 2017, that they were going to go on the New York Times, start talking about it, and what he called a weathering into the public about the seriousness of these objects, that they're real. We can't put it out too fast into the public and cause panic, so we're going to do it very, very slowly until it becomes a normal thing. Now, myself, I get phone calls, I get emails, I get talked to by these people, contacted, and I take it with a grain of salt. There's a lot of people in ufology that get excited and say, "Ooh, I'm talking to someone in intelligence. They must be telling me the truth." So they turn to the public and they say everything that they're told without questioning it. Look, if you're in counterintelligence, that means you're a professional liar. Yeah. And so this kind of weathers ufology into whatever narrative that they want to put out there, especially disinformation, and causes even professionals in the Pentagon to look at ufology, look at this disinformation, and take it as almost fact. So it mucks up the water so badly that the truth is really hard to ascertain. Even people that are experiencers will lose, their identity, their idea about reality. And even though they know what's happened to them, they'll turn for answers, and those answers are disinformation. So they will take their desperate, torn worldview and cohere to information that's not true in the first place. So then it becomes even a bigger mess. So it's really
I think that's a really insightful observation there, as we've spoke about before, and which pleases me now that around the globe, experiencer groups are coming together to get the correct information and to sift through the disinformation that the government agencies are giving about these UFOs. I mean, yes, at one point at the very beginning, they changed it. Was it UAPs? And us experiencers know them as UFOs. And in fact, non-experiencers know the terminology of UFO. And I felt that when they tried to change the naming from UFO to UAPs was another way of distracting away, and for the military bodies to take control of this phenomena. And so I'm really pleased on the back of what you said, that experiencer groups are raising all around the world, coming together, all experiencers like me, yourself, and others, where we can counteract, or not counteract, that's a negative, counterbalance and give a different perspective of what's going on. Obviously, we're coming up to June. I don't know if we're in June or not. I don't know where I am lately because there's no time in the day. In America, you have this report coming out, do you not? I've listened to numerous discussions and people knowing, thinking they know a lot what's going to be in it. Personally, for me, and that's a personal truth and perspective, whatever they say it's irrelevant to me as an experiencer. However, I'm not ignorant, do not think about humanity as a whole, but are not aware of what's going on at present. So I've got to ask on behalf of the audience, Eric, yourself, what do you think will come out of this report? Or is it going to be we need more time? Or is it going to be the minimum, just drip fed?
I think it's going to be the minimum. I think it's going to be drip fed. I think it's going to be clear cut for Congress to understand. It's anything that's leaked into private industry or anything like that is going to be highly classified. That's kind of how it works in this field. So to the average everyday person, it's going to be shocking because they're going to put out cases of I don't know, a 18-wheeler driver encounters something and reports it. MUFON, if something happens to you, you report to MUFON, which is a private industry. It's not even the government, and they lock all this stuff up. There are certain parts of our government that kind of lean in and check things out, but it's just MUFON. What's the credibility there when it comes to the intelligence community? So, something happens to me, I report to MUFON, I report to ufology, nothing ever happens to it. I can have the most compelling pictures and videos and all those things. So essentially, the cover-up begins with ufology and MUFON. It's the ceiling, it's the brick wall. I'm not able to have an experience for the first time in my life, IQ of 150, credentials miles long, call the Pentagon and say, look, my life's being ruined. Come out here, check this thing out. So, what they're going to do is take some credible cases, what they call credible, which civilians aren't credible, guys, at all. That's the new social engineered narrative.
Only military are credible eyewitnesses. Only military. I agree.
That's correct. But I am a credible taxpayer. That's very important to understand. I wish I wasn't credible enough to pay my taxes, but I am credible to pay my taxes. I am credible to, participate in my community and help people in their own personal lives. But yeah, they are, to the average person, going to be very compelling, very amazing. But anybody like us, we're not going to be amused at all.
No.
As a matter of fact, I think we're going to be a little bit ticked off about, them hyping this stuff up. And that's another part of this social engineering, is hyping up the situation to where the entertainment mind that we've been raised by the television our whole lives, our entertainment mind is trained to be having expectations about a new movie, a new expectation about a television show. And then here it is, it comes on, and we're kind of disappointed. Therefore, every time a new case comes forward, we're absolutely jaded about the information that comes out. And that causes extreme, almost hatred toward the whole situation. This is how counterintelligence works. So if I show you a picture or a video of something over my home, the majority of the people are going to go, that's fake, that's stupid, I thought it was going to be nice. What do you expect? What do you want? You have the real thing, but your expectations are through the roof now. Go home, watch X-Men, watch Batman. Then you're going to be happy. But when you see real abilities, real empathy, real psychic ability, real data coming through Stanford University and Harvard University of extraordinary minds having contact in real time, that's not fun. That's not exciting. So the real thing
we've been given a perception of what the experiences are from a fictional point of view. And so, therefore, the real one becomes less credible, doesn't it? Through that fictional way,
Yeah, one of the closest things I've seen to reality is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And honestly, from what's happened in my front yard, that movie bores the hell out of me.
But on the back of that, and of what Karen just stated, I would raise the question, not just as an experiencer, with what they've released, military, they've had this information for 70 years maybe, They have all the information. They know who's visiting. They know who they are. They know everything about it. Will the question, do you think, be raised in America, because this is where it's all kicking off? Why have the government, the Pentagon, the government, lied and denied and ridiculed all through these several decades, and now it's true? And also, secondary and parallel with that, which I think is more pertinent, is, Eric, why do you think they're doing it now and releasing it?
My gosh, lied, covered up. Gosh, number one, embarrassment. We pay these people our tax dollars to protect us, and they have, what I've heard recently is a huge intelligence failure. And I guess they can put it that way, huge intelligence failure. But on top of that, they're learning warfare. These children like to throw bombs at each other. They like to stay ahead. Who's got the biggest bombs? Who got the biggest guns? It doesn't matter how it affects us. It matters how far ahead they stay along with this game that they're playing. We're floating around on this little blue ball in the middle of nowhere, and we've got these children constantly playing this game of power against each other. And so let's keep it quiet and all of that, So it is actually that ridiculous that, they're playing with plastic swords and not hoping that the next guy doesn't get a bigger plastic sword. And it's laughable. It really is.
It is now. I mean, but again, so the second part of that question was, Eric, many people have different perspectives on why the Pentagon, the government. I mean, over here in the UK, we've had mainstream media, which is controlled by our government, but they've been allowed to put out, like we have a very, very top brand show called Newsnight, about the UFOs, and they're here, it's real. Yeah. Why do you think it's happening now? I've heard many different perspectives on this. I would like yours. Why do you think they're releasing it now?
The invention of the wheel, I would say. I'd start with that. That's a good way to look at this. The invention of the wheel changed the entire planet. Mm-hmm. And with that kind of change, it came a lot of power. Look at the motor industry. Look at the airplanes. Even airplanes need wheels. Mm. It changed reality. Absolutely, 100%. Changed the entire world. We're looking at not being alone in the universe. That is a very powerful, perceptive thing. If you can control that kind of narrative, if you can control that kind of power of everyone's mind and captivate everyone's mind and take that narrative wherever you want it to go, that is 100% control over the people. And that's what these narcissistic people want to do. If you study the animal of the narcissist, if you understand it, which empaths have a lot of trouble. We scratch our heads every day going, Jesus, what the hell? What is a narcissist, but that's basically what it is, Nobody puts themselves through all that schooling and all that grueling just to become in a position of power. They have narcissism. So the ultimate control is the ultimate winner and the ultimate narcissist, and they get their gold cup. And that's what this is. This is control. Look at what they're doing with COVID-19. It's a perfect thing to use globally to control people. Here in America, these narcissistic sociopaths are writing wish lists worth billions of dollars, and it has nothing to do with helping people. Maybe 9% of helping people, and the rest of it's a wish list of power and control. So it's a useful narrative. So you can look over here while over here is doing something. And
it's always been a ploy like that for several decades. Not, guys, that I'm several decades old yet,
No.
I've read. I'm looking at, as I said, different perspectives on this, and in a second we're going to go into your amazing documentary. What I'm going to be honest, and what resonates with me as to why now. I personally, it's my truth. It could change tomorrow. You know, I'm open for change. But the truth that resonates with me now, working in experiencer groups, being an experiencer myself and the contact I have, and listening to other experiences, especially globally, is the governments of the world, they don't have a choice. And if they don't step up now and start releasing this information, the beings that have been visiting us since the beginning, who are part of us, are going to do it anyway. They have been disclosing to experiencers for eons. However, the time is now, and that will lead into your documentary,
Right.
that they don't have a choice. Now they don't, and they're still trying to control this. I mean, since the Pentagon spoke, not from 2017 and 2021, more general public are seeing, videoing UFOs, contact. It's just accelerating rapidly, as if these sightings are more and more and more that will counteract this control. So, like, I have this like awareness that don't worry, this time the narcissist, it will not control this situation, because this is about humanity. This is about us as a civilization, about Mother Earth, about, as you said, these kids are bombing and killing and accumulating wealth to such an extent you couldn't even spend it, while others of human beings on Earth are suffering poverty, illness, disease. So it's so out of balance. On the polarities are too great now that we risk a destruction here. And many of the experiencers are fully aware of what timeline could happen if we do not stand up and say, this is not going to happen no more. We need to overcome our fear. And like yourself, write to the Pentagon, make the documentaries. So that's coming from my, as you can tell, I'm very, on this at the moment. How can you resonate with that? You don't have to, but how does that feel with you?
No, 100%. Gloria, the work that I do and the work that you do, we see the other side. Not a lot of experiencers know how many of us are actually out there, but when you run groups and you work with so many people in 125, 127 different countries, you get a pretty good picture on how many lives that are involved and how much gasoline is behind them. Once you let go of one of these rockets, they will go all the way for the rest of their lives. And if I was talking to the intelligence community right now about their narrative and how much they want to control this, I'm going to say, okay, you want to take a dam and put a little spigot on there that you want to own this flow to. And I want to say, you have no idea how much weight is behind your little piece of concrete, because it's all going to come out. We, the people, you just have no idea. I mean, almost everywhere I go, someone's got a UFO story, or meeting a fellow experiencer that wants to speak for the first time and doesn't want to be ridiculed. If you normalize this and you think you're going to control it, I'm going to sit back and watch, and
laugh.
I'm going to have popcorn. I'm not going to laugh too much because you can choke on the popcorn, but I'm going to giggle that you're going to know I'm loving every second of it. But
Okay. Well, we've got to move on now to the most important part of the show. Eric, we would like you to tell us about your documentary. I have my questions here, being professional as I am, because as you know, Karen, I know Eric, so I could just go into a conversation for eternity and totally forget about anyone else. I do apologize. However, I've got to ask the first main question on behalf of our audience, Eric. And Karen, please jump in. You know me, I chat for England. Just say shut up, Gloria. Do you know what I mean? Why, Eric, did you take your experience and turn it into a documentary?
Wow. I mean, I guess an outsider in my life would say that I would want to take the screen and try to be special. That couldn't be further from the truth. I don't like my picture being taken. Call my mother, ask her, she'll tell you. I don't. I do 99% of my work behind the screen. I wish it was somebody else doing this. You know, I wish I had better hair. I wish I looked like Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah. But you got your sexy voice, Eric. Come on. You're doing good. You're doing good.
That's just because it's so early in the morning, my vocals don't want to work. But no, I'm doing it because I work with people on a daily basis that suffer so badly. I can hear their children's voices in the background. I can see, you know, divorces in hand. I can see so many terrible things. You know, I'm standing here with a mop and a broom doing something that my government should be doing. You know, taking care of these things. You know, and if you were to ask their greatest psychologist how to fix this problem, they wouldn't know how to do it. But yet here I am doing it every single day of my life. For what reason? Money? I don't make any money. You know, I do it out of passion. I live hand to mouth, so I have time to help people I've never met before. So, you know, it's gotten to the point where it's so overwhelming. There's too many people. I don't have enough time. You know, I have to do something on a broader spectrum. So the documentary it's time, because it is time. And so many people are ready to come forward. So the main part of the documentary that I'd like is not just entertainment. I want to reach out to every person sitting at home on the couch that deal with these specific things internally, the experiencer, the quintessential experiencer, and let them know they're not alone, that there's a lot of us out there. And, you know, go from there, because having that particular conversation is more important than talking about lights in the sky, because it's about the lights in our hearts that need to be nourished when it comes to this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a beautiful statement, isn't it, Karen? That really, I'm going to plagiarize that now and steal that from Eric.
Take it.
Another question, obviously, for our audience. Well, no, I would say not for the audience, for myself, because I'm not sure if the general public are aware how mainstream media can take an experiencer's story and say to them, yes, we're going to put it out there, just like the same narrative you just said. However, when that's released, they have chopped it, they have cut it, they have omitted. So when they actually watch their documentary or film, and I did say to you, a bit like Travis Walton, it's totally taken away what the experiencer's trying to share to humanity. So on the back of that, you've taken total control of this documentary, have you not? With the people that you work with.
Yeah, I these little happy accidents that experiencer has, you know, that you know, we oftentimes
they're called synchronicities, darling. Synchronicities.
Yeah, sometimes I look at the sky and I think, who the heck is writing the scripts? But Travis and I lived together for about 8 months, and we spent a lot of time together. I'm always busy, he's always busy, but we try to keep in touch here and there. Not as much as either one of us would like. But yeah, it television, entertainment, guys, I've turned down millions of dollars. That's a lot of money, you know. That's a lot of I could if I wanted to do this for myself and benefit myself, I could be on a yacht right now. I could be, you know, money. No, I eat sandwiches. I eat ramen noodles. I live hand to mouth.
Or charging the general public to pay to hear you and your experience. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I haven't done that, but no, I don't make any money doing what I do,
No.
and doing what I do takes 90% of my time. So it doesn't take a mathematician to understand that something happened to me, and that drive is constant. You know, it's not about entertaining myself. It's not about trying to even learn more information. It's trying to be compassionate towards people that are suffering in a way that I know is very specific to my heart. And I know that it only takes someone like myself, Gloria, or yourself to walk them through the particular situation that they're in. It's not even written in the confines of psychology.
No.
I mean, it's not. It's not
No.
even in books yet. So I'm teaching psychologists how to deal with this and how to deal with their patients when it comes to this, because it's not in their schooling, it's not in their college. This is how far behind we are as humanity. This is how
Yeah.
far behind we are. So, you know, gosh, I wish it was some sort of diagnosis, something treatable, something that we could do. But it takes an experiencer to understand where an experiencer is at and walk them through where they get stuck, because you're leaving behind an identity that was given to you since you were a child, you know, and you have to walk away from that and learn to be you, the real you that's not told what to think, what to bear, or wear, what to buy, who to care about, who to hate. Everything your squawk box in your living room tells you you're supposed to be, that you're supposed to have a fanny pack and like reality TV and a 23% credit card. No, none of that is you.
None of that.
And once you have these profound experiences, you leave it all behind and you kind of look around and watch everyone and really feel separated from this bread and circus is what the military calls it. You know, this whole show that's put in front of you. And life's not about chasing money. It's about chasing your heart, your dreams, and aspirations. And what do you want to be in this world? Or naturally, what are you in this world?
Yeah, exactly. Follow your excitement. I mean, I could just digress off here. I'm just terrible. It's just too interesting. However, I'd like to pull the conversation back. Tell me about these synchronicities of meeting these other guys. We put the picture up on the advert. And how did this documentary come about? How did it happen?
Oh, wow. Well, it's a miracle that I'm on the computer with you now. I'm terrible with electronics. I'm terrible with computers.
I know.
I was literally at a conference in San Francisco and ran into these guys, and I was having trouble with my computer slideshow and ended up talking to them, then being on their podcast. But basically, they were interested in putting the truth out there, and I said, "Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this, but I have some truth," you know. So
he is cynical, Karen, isn't he? You got to watch Eric. He gets a bit cynical now and again.
Yeah. I do. I've developed a great dry sense of humor towards certain.
What do you mean developed? You've always had it. You go on. You met these guys at an event. You go on.
No, I was born a rebel, and I'm getting really good at it. So
yeah, you're an expert, Eric. Trust me.
I think so. I'm told by everyone around me. You know, I was approached by someone not too long ago that everybody was interested in what I had to say, and this guy just kind of bellows in and blah 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 blah. I said, "Wow, I smell burnt genetics." Anybody else? You know, and so.
You don't want to, Karen. You don't want to take Eric to a party. Trust me, you'd lose everybody. You'd lose everybody. Anyway, as normal with Eric, we go off. Now let's pull it back. Let's pull it back together. You met them at this conference. Do go on.
Yeah, we hit it off great. I had a great sense of genuineness. I had a great sense of the lack of narcissism and all these things that I've dealt with television and sorts. So that kind of genuineness with these type of people led me to a certain amount of trust when it comes to that. You know, it's hard to take my life and just hand it to someone to be told to the world. gosh, it's not even about an amount of money, it's about trusting another person to do this. I have suffered in ways that I couldn't articulate in any type of wording ever. There's no way I can tell someone how much I've suffered, but to even have that type of opportunity to kind of leap out and take that kind of chance, keeping my fingers crossed, and that trust still holds today. They're still great people. They're doing their best to put things together, and just like anything on television, there's editing, there's choices to be made. So I don't think anything's going to be perfect, but I really feel like it's going to be informative and touch people at home in a way that they really need to hear these things. There's so many spouses that call me that can't even talk to their spouse, the person they share their own bed with, about these things. There's divorces over it. Just to open those things up and bring it to people at home is just.
You have total control of this in this documentary. You have the control of your personal experience and of the narrative, and obviously with the other guys. Do you want to give them a shout out? Who are the other guys?
It's too early. I don't want to wake them up. I mean, it's really early. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you softy.
No, it's Ben and Joe from UFO Garage, and Nico, which is the director. He's got a great sharp eye for understanding things. He's not even into the UFO subject. He just
wow.
Kind of came aboard. He's good at film, and he was a little interested in what's going on, and so it's really interesting to see these two guys, Ben and Joe, that have been interested in this subject their whole life. And then you have Nico, the skeptic, that's slowly changing. He'll pull out a $10,000 camera, and all of a sudden the diagnostics say the electromagnetic field disruption is shutting down the camera. So he'll put his camera down and say, "Eric, are you a magnet? What's wrong here? What's going on?" So, he'll slowly start to see things. And you can see that cognitive dissonance going on in his mind. Witnesses come forward and he's going, these people are too good. They're not lying. What's going on here? It's like, well, hey, let's go ahead and cut. We'll have a beer and get back with it. So it's kind of neat to watch his processing going on with it. But I couldn't ask for a better person to kind of direct this kind of thing, because I want believers on my team, but most importantly, I want skeptics. I appreciate.
I love skeptics. In my experience group, I won't name, but I have one skeptic, and I love this skeptic. And week after week, I say your skepticism was 10. Like 1 is I believe, and 10 is like. And each week it drops. We're now at skepticism level 3, going, nothing happens, but guess what? And I love skeptics. Karen, come on, get in there. Or me and Eric will take over the show.
Asking the questions that I'm about to ask, so I'm just listening intently to everything.
It's.
But so was that like really important to you then, that the people involved within this documentary had wanted to know your truth and your perspective without that sort of editing for entertainment perspective?
Yeah, gosh, I don't know. That's such a wide question. Can you kind of just narrow it down? Because I feel like a subatomic particle. I can go so many directions at the same time. But
I'll tell you what, I'll ask you this. Do you feel that you may need to edit your own version of it so that more people will accept it, or are you just going full steam ahead? This is exactly what happened. You deal with.
No, of course, I would want to be every part of editing and stuff like that, but it's not possible. It's not going to be 100% me. It's going to be other perspectives. It has to be. And I have to let that go and not be anal retentive about it. In philosophy, it's really important to understand what we can hold on to and what we have to let go of. And I think it's more important to understand what we need to let go of than what we need to hold on to. So some things just have to kind of happen naturally in order for us to grow and understand the happening that we're doing. So, I'm not going to let go 100%, but it will be 100% truthful and 100% truthful perspective wise as well. I mean, my own son, he's in college. I don't want this to bother his life. I don't want this to bother his career. I don't want people contacting him social media and bothering him while he's trying to earn a degree and do a good life for himself. But he's right there in the documentary. My best friend, someone I've known for many, many years. I don't want that effect to happen to this person either. But for that to come forward is more golden than seeing something in the sky. To open yourself to ridicule, to open yourself all kinds of things that could happen, but say, you know what, the hell with it, because it's the damn truth. So let's go ahead and do it.
That was really, I can't believe Karen asked a question like that. That was amazing. Thank you. Why didn't I think of that one? That was really good. I'm gonna have to watch my back, Eric. Watch her. She's good. She's good with good questions. What you said about the documentary, I'd still like to, so far, I know I'm digging deeper and I'm being a bit repetitive. I'd like to go back to the question earlier on. When you started to, kick off the documentary, you met these guys, it all went that way. Was there any interest from other parties to take over your documentary? The Netflix, that's the area I really want to get into. And how did that come about? And obviously you decided no, but was there an interest by the Control Factor to take your experience and demolish it, basically?
Yeah. There was, there was members in ufology that wanted to write a book about me. There were, I don't even know how many documentary teams that contacted me wanting to do a documentary. You just kind of feel those things around a little bit. And, even just doing interviews, Gloria, I turned down 3 this week. I said yes to one guy that was very earnest. You got to, over time, you learn to feel these things out.
Yeah.
So I agreed to do one interview this week with a very young man that is honest at heart, and you can tell these people. So I agreed to that. But yeah, there were some really big names, a lot of big money being shown to me. And
well, yeah, you still go to work, Eric. You still have to get up and go to work, and you've been doing that for years since we can't connect with each other.
Yeah,
it shows your authenticity. I keep getting told write a book, and I go, no, I'd rather narrate the story, share it verbally, or get guests on the show. It's a lot easier for me. I'm sick of reading books or writing books. So the way that you're doing it, I think, is really, really important. And I think it will open the door for maybe not a documentary. That's fine. The shift has happened. It may not be the right way to go in the future. However, the experience has come out, especially once they've watched a documentary such as yourself, The Truth. And more and more, I feel like more and more experiences will go live. We will go live on Facebook. I can just see it happening live in conversations. And the fear factor you spoke about is like, I never come out of the closet until I had Mary Rodwell on the show publicly. I told a few, I've been abducted, as you do. You can, because there was this fear of ridicule, even though I'd been painting all my life these beings. It was I had so much fear. It was immense. I may lose my family, I may lose my friends. And I have to say to any experiencer out there, and Eric, I know will agree, when you overcome that fear and you come out that closet, you think the world is going to crash. No, the universe reflects back to you. And nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. And the fears drop away. And then you can share your experience to other in humanity who have experienced, like you said, their marriages have broken, they've lost their children, their mental health has suffered. You know, it just makes a space, a safe space for other experiences to come out. And I do feel that your documentary is going to do that as well. Drop the fear.
You know, if you lose friends and family for telling the truth, then you didn't have friends and family to begin with, you know, and that's really important. You know, if I were somehow, you know, through all the psychological testing I've done under the investigation, if I was found somehow schizophrenic, you know, and lost friends and family because of a mental illness, you know, which I don't have. I was kind of hoping I did, you know, get a free check.
I know the feeling, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a terrible thing, but I'd rather live in the truth than bask in a lie like that, you know. So, of course, we lose almost everyone throughout our lifetime. We are the only person that's with us from birth till death is us, you know. So being honest about that and finding that 4 or 5 people that will stand behind you the entire time they know you is important. Everyone else does not matter. They don't matter.
No, exactly.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, you know, I was talking to a 16-year-old kid the other day that wanted to impress all of his kids in high school and everything like that. And I had to tell him, I said, everyone that means the world to you right now, you wouldn't care at all about them in 10, 20 years. You probably won't even remember their names. So don't take it so seriously. But yeah, Gloria, if I showed you the amount of money that was offered to me, it makes me stutter every time, but I'm not taking it. No way. No way. It's got to be the truth or nothing. There's too much blood, sweat, and tears behind all this for, you know, and, you know, I sat with Travis years ago and watched his film, and he had to correct almost everything in that film, you know, to set me straight when it came to that. I don't want that to happen. Maybe after the truth all comes out 100%, do a great movie, you know, so people can be entertained. But let's get the truth out first, you know. Let's do that.
I'm agreeing. I'm so riveted with what he's saying. I'm sorry, I forgot I was a host.
I don't see. This is what I do. This is what I do. I get so engrossed in everything that I'm like,
Totally forgot I was a host there. I do apologize to the world and to the UK people. I totally forgot. I was just listening there, not doing my job.
But it's amazing to think that, you know, there are sort of thousands of people who have come forward and said they have had some sort of experience. But just think about how many there is that have never said anything at all. You know, so we're sort of just going off, such and such many people. There must be something special about them, or there must be something to do with them, but not. Do you know what I mean? But actually, there's probably, I mean, even one of my colleagues at work the other day, because I was talking to him about into this kind of thing, and he asked me, and he said, I can only say it to you because I know you'll get it, but I did see something in the sky, and it felt like it was there for me, even though it was this object in the sky, and I feel like I can tell you, but I couldn't tell anybody else. So then I said, well, from what I know, people have said once that sort of that acknowledgement has been made, then they may possibly do it again. And he has actually said since then, you were exactly right, because I have experienced it quite a lot. Not anything like abduction that he's aware of or anything like that, but just that acknowledgement, and it is happening a lot more now. And I think it's just wonderful how it's being put out there more and more accepted.
Yeah, I think enough people have seen my face out there, and I'm known to several organizations all over the world. They send me people that are suffering, and I think it's, living behind the scenes where people know they can look at me and open up, and talk to me about those things. I'm behind the scenes now, so I get to see it every single day. People on the streets, people contact me through social media all the time, and a lot of the times it is, I saw something, I can't explain it, but I just wanted to reach out and tell you. They feel better about themselves. It's really great for them to get that off their chest. But it's everywhere. You cannot be in a crowded room without an experiencer in there. If you think...
I agree. Sorry to interrupt. I've got to share this one. I have to. Totally forgot. I was out a few days ago with my youngest daughter, and we were walking to go somewhere. And like people pass you, and you normally hear, oh, EastEnders is on tonight, or something really irrelevant to life, or the sort of normal chat. And as they were quite educated, you could tell, professionals. It was lunchtime from the office, and there was two. And as they were walking past, I was going, well, yes, what do you think about the unidentified flying object? It was like normal conversation. And I stood there going, and I said to my daughter, did you hear that? And it's now in conversation in the streets, talking about ufology, talking about ETs or dimensional being. And this, as Karen stated, people are coming out. First of all, they're putting their toe out to someone they know. I can talk to you. But then their colleagues at work, they're having this conversation on a lunch break. Hello? That is the paradigm shift that I'm noticing, like Karen's just addressed there, that the awareness now, it's okay. So I would say to all experiences out there, it's perfectly okay to come out the closet. And especially because your government says it's okay as well. So if you need the government, which is perfectly fine, it's the first step. Come out of the closet, overcome the fear, and share your experience with other experiences, because this is not going to stop.
No.
On that note, because we're coming close to the time, because I know us, we'll go well into overtime with Eric. Eric, again, when do you think the documentary will be released to the public? 2, what is the documentary called? And 3, I want an exclusive, don't we, Karen, on our show? So there you are. You have no choice on the latter, the last question. So when's the documentary coming out, do you think?
Well, they want it out by the end of the summer, which I guess that puts a lot of faith in editing, because editing is a lot of work. So maybe close to the beginning of winter. Anything can happen in life, so this could go on. There is so much information that it could be 6 documentaries.
Yeah, I know.
One after the next, but this is a first try. So hopefully by the end of the summer, I don't have my fingers too crossed for it, because I've got a lot of work.
But we're hoping by the end of the year.
Yeah, but the name of it has to be called It's Time, because it absolutely is. If the Pentagon wants to throw their information forward, wait till they see what we have. Yeah.
I can't wait. And on the last part where you don't have an option, when the time's right and you have a date for the documentary to be released, you'll come back on the show and share with the people of the United Kingdom. Okay?
No, your show is way too early in the morning.
Eric Mitchell, I'll have you know, way back in the day, we would talk on video, and because of the time difference, I think it was your evening, it was my middle of the night. So no, I'm not having it. I was up in the night chatting to you. when I should have gotten my beauty sleep. So get over it. Stop throwing your toys out your pram. You're coming back early hours.
Look at you. Look at you. You've got plenty of beauty sleep. Look at you. But yeah.
You know, I love it when he's telling BS. Do you know what I mean? Eric, before we close,
at the time we were talking almost every night, and I was I was dying.
You were very poorly.
Yeah, and I think the doctors gave me a 5% chance to live. Man, it was terrible, but thank you so much for being there as a friend. When
it was good. I mean, as I said, he was just like this, Karen, even when he was dying.
Yeah,
the mouth this man has, and a bit it used to be late nighters and the cats and oh god, everything else. Let's not go there. Eric, thank you for today. Me and Karen, I mean, as I said, even I forgot I was hosting the show. I was like, here we go. So riveting and interesting. And thank you for sharing this today. We look forward to having you back on the show, as you've already signed a contract with me when the documentary is going to be released. Okay. Done. It's done. Before we end the show today, is there anything or any advice for experiencers that are watching live now or will be watching on YouTube or further down the line on the reruns? Because you can access these shows forever. You can keep going back. Is there anything, any sort of advice or direction or pointers or information you'd like to give to the experiencers watching this show today?
We could do a whole show on that, but first and foremost,
right, book him, Karen. We're booking him. He's booked. Eric, sorry, I will be contacting you later. You're booked for that, okay? That's all. You heard him. Hello, everybody. You all heard him say there's another show on that, so we're booking Eric for that. Now that
we can go really deep into that. I mean, that's what I do. That's what I live, eat, breathe. I spend all my time with people. My biggest advice to any experiencer is stop being alone. Stop being alone. Find someone that you can talk to, confide into, and release that from yourself. It's bottled up. It's explosive, just like any emotion, and it's not good for you. And there's so many people that you could talk to. Contact me. Obviously, I don't sleep much.
Nice.
Yeah, and get it out. Tell a family member, tell a spouse, take a risk on being seen for who you are. This is Gloria, this is what I've seen. Stanford University, Harvard University, one of the smartest people I've ever met, innovating the future of science, sociology, psychology, all experiencers. Just because you hold yourself back doesn't mean that you have to. Experiencers are not the crazy people. We're innovating the future of the world, whether it be science, whether it be just simply using your heart while walking down the street. We know we're changed. We know we know what we are. We do it all the time, accidentally, on purpose, sarcastically. It doesn't matter. So reach out, become yourself, love yourself for it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Crazy is not a damn diagnosis. It's a self-policing word that people use so they can fit into this facade that we call society. Guess what, guys? We're changing society, and it's going to fit reality this time, and we're going to stop screwing up.
That was beautiful, Eric. That was very elegant, Eric. I want you to know that. That was beautiful. And it was from the heart, and I felt that. That. Thank you.
No,
that just actually made me think, with regards to anything, like if I'm picking up on something or I'm about to say something to somebody, I'll always start with, I know you're going to think I'm a bit mad, but, or I know you're going to think this is weird, but, and you put that sort of thing towards it, of thinking to yourself, I have to tell somebody that this is actually weird or strange or crazy or a bit nuts before I even validate what I'm saying. So we do that. Everybody does that, don't they?
If I had $1, just one single dollar for every time I hear this phrase. You're going to think I'm crazy, but
Yeah.
we would be doing this show on a yacht in the, you know, with little umbrella drinks and have a great time. Because, yeah, that's the first approach. Is you're going to think I'm crazy, but I have to say this. The reason why they have to say it is because they have to become themselves eventually before they die. I recently posted in a private social media group that I run of people that have passed away. You know, their faces, their lives, their names, and the wealth of this information goes to the grave. We need to stop doing that. You know, the wealth of the information on this subject doesn't belong at the Pentagon. It doesn't belong at the Area 51. It doesn't belong in you know, chat groups. It ends up in the grave, and we need to stop doing that. Let's do it for our kids, the future of humanity. It needs to stop. We live a lie every day of our lives. Let's drop the lie and start talking about the truth. We're not alone. We've never been alone. And it's time that we grow a little bit. There's going to be some growing pains, absolutely. But with good stride, we'll get there.
That's another really good statement about taking it to the grave. It has been for the past several decades, 70 years. You know, some have been able to give their evidence before they've passed. I think it's changed now, Eric. As you know, Karen said, we're all noticing in the groups, young uns are coming up. I mean, young people really don't follow social etiquette at all because the paradigm shift is so great now. Yeah, I see them. Yeah, they're putting their videos online. It's normal for them. They don't need, they've said, we don't need, who is this Pentagon? They go. They don't even know in this country, Pentagon, I've heard that, because they're already in their truth. And it's about owning your own truth and owning your reality. Okay, the reality we were in when we were controlled by those above was a lie. And when you first step out, that can be quite traumatic in itself. I mean, I'm hearing a discussion going over in your country, Eric, where you've got different politics to us. So please correct me if I'm incorrect. Like some of your members, not Parliament, Congress, have no access. They don't have a need to know. And I know that a lot of the presidents didn't have a need to know. I mean, that doesn't, in my humble eyes, define democracy. So there's bound to be an uproar in America where the people are saying, well, why doesn't is it a Congress? We call them MPs, local MP or Senate. Right. What do you call it out there?
Oh, Congress and Senate, yes. And yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous how it is. It really is. I mean, our politics have more turned into an oligarchy than a democracy. And people are so perpetuated by fear and confusion that we're actually allowing this to happen. You know, people are so used to their bottle-fed social engineering that they're willing to go with it. And that's just got to change. It really has to. Because if this can happen to America, I promise you it can happen to any other country.
I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious if the president of the United States doesn't have the correct access, is not in the need to know, then who runs America? Basically, would be coming from the British, my UK perspective. I no longer hold that as a belief that whatever country you're in, prime minister or president, you do not control that country. That is obvious now after all the years getting there. But some people still believe that their president or their prime minister tells them this is the truth. They really believe they would never lie. They believe everything. And you sort of go, okay. To me now, Eric, after my long life, to say that our government would never lie to us is as ridiculous as someone saying, what is the sex of a tuna sandwich? It's so illogical now to think that you believe that. However, way back I did. I believed that my government would never lie. That is a massive.
Yeah, because you believe that they always have your best interest at heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now you come to find out they don't.
But we're looking after you.
Yeah.
This is for your own good, and this is for you.
Oh, we're bottle fed in school. I mean, even in school, we're bottle fed. We have our, I like to call it proximity pride, because we have our flag that we're so proud of, and our democracy that we're so proud of. We even have songs that we sing to kind of just jar this into our brains.
Yeah.
So, we're as human beings, we're born not as a celebrated entity. We are put on probation the moment we are born. You have to get through kindergarten. You have to go through this first grade, second grade. When you graduate, you've got college, and then you're still on probation. And then you become an insurance salesman where you have to get this quota and that quota. And you're putting back money your whole life so you can one day enjoy life. And at the end, you have this money and you're too impotent,
Yes.
to enjoy
life.
And
you die.
Yeah, and then you die. But eventually you figure out it was all a lie. It was all a facade.
I mean, yeah, it is a shock. I do get that. It is a shock. So I think for the majority of humanity now, with what's happening I'll use the common terminology with the increase in ET contact now and coming into our dimension. The first hurdle for those that are skeptical, which is fine, you should be. I'm a biggest skeptic of everything. Is, oh my God, my government lied. They're not worried about ET or other civilizations. My government lied. It's like when you're in any relationship with a partner and you trust that partner, and after a period of time you find out they're a lying, cheating, be careful, Gloria, toe rag, yeah, that can destroy somebody.
Yes.
I'm being careful how I pronounce my words today. So imagine how you feel when the first time you find out our prime ministers and presidents have lied. Sometimes not intentionally, because they don't know themselves. They're not in the need to know category. They may ask, is this true? I have no idea, and I have no interest at all to know if Boris has asked. It's irrelevant to me because I am an experiencer. However, it's a bit of a shock, don't you think, Karen, that your government, either one, they don't know, and now all of a sudden the Pentagon is telling the world they're real. Well, why wasn't I told? So I can just see how that must be quite a traumatic experience for the individual consciousness, trying to get their head around, never mind visitation. They'll have an easier time, I reckon, with contact from what we call ET than they will with dealing with the government and the lies and the powers that be. That's just a personal perspective, by the way, guys. It's not, I'm not saying you should follow that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add? Because the topic with you is so interesting, isn't it, Karen? It's just...
Yeah, I think once the average person, gosh, it's such a long road. You've got to, first of all, look at the evidence, look at the reports, and find out that, yes, these UFOs are real. These UAPs are real. And, we're showing footage of them over the ocean, only over the ocean, because they don't, they go
anywhere else, Eric, do they? No.
They can't apparently go anywhere else. But, once the average person realizes they're over land too, and then they have to understand that they are physically affecting human beings. They are physically contacting human beings. And then how deep the science goes. And guys, Stanford University, Harvard University, I'm personally getting universities to take a look at the evidence of these physical effects. I've got my eye on one university over the pond in your area. I think they might be interested. I've got a bunch of information, and I've just got to find the time to package it up, send it over. But yeah, I mean, it's once you figure out how much these experiencers like me and Gloria are affected and can be looked at, how long is it going to take to swallow that pill for the average person? So this is going to be a rabbit hole for all 7-8 billion people to slowly swallow all of this down and take into reality. And once that happens, the confines of everything we know, from society to money to transportation, I mean everything we know is going to change. Everything.
Absolutely. I'd just like to add on the end of that, you addressed it earlier on, and I would like to bring it back into the conversation and to say to everybody, what's happening on Mother Earth is not the movies. The movies were fictional. The fifth kind, the fourth kind, or whatever kind you want, they were fictional interpretations of the truth. Now, what the Pentagon and other governments are saying is they are real. This is true. This is not a movie. This is your reality. And your reality is about to shift in ways that none of us can perceive. We're just allowing it to go. And it's never going back. So please, I think Karen raised that question, the complacency. People have seen the films as well. You've raised that. And they're just sort of like, yeah, I've seen it all before. Yeah, man. Yeah. And I'm saying seriously, please distinguish between a fictional movie by Spielberg and your reality now on Mother Earth in the end of May. Are we in May? I think we are. 2021. Yeah, this is reality. Just getting there. And it's a serious thing that you need to use some discernment over. And discernment is really needed now. What does this mean for me? Where can I seek help? Who can I talk to? Where should I go? Because it's going to be the biggest reality shift by the end of this year.
Yeah, Gloria, can you imagine that, the crazy people are now experts?
Yeah, I know. I was called a tinfoil hatter. I was called a loony. I was called some very nice expletives way back in the day that I should be locked up. The government says it's not true, and you're schizophrenic. I got a whole list of names. Yeah, I was called. You're off the planet, and being my nature of who I am, I normally gave an expletive back because I'm a bit of a rebel myself. Like, however, there are those that have been and still are being emotionally affected by the ridicule. Do you think any of them that ridiculed me in the past will say, "I'm so sorry, you were right"? No, and I don't need it.
No.
I don't need their validation. I don't need the Pentagon's validation. I have my own validation with billions of experiences on Mother Earth. So
I stood on stage in 2014 in Maine and talked about OSAP and ATIP and all these projects and programs in the Pentagon. And so many people came up to me and said, Eric, I'm a ufologist. You're wrong. It's Area 51. So many people told me I was wrong. And 2017, October, ATIP comes forward, OSAP comes forward. I didn't get one phone call, so don't be worried about, talking the truth. Look, it's coming out. That's the thing. So it's snowballing. It's going to get bigger and bigger. What I would suggest to a skeptic at this point is take a good look at, the deepest levels of this, the deepest confines of these human beings that are dealing with this right now, because that's where it's going to drag you, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And
you are all going down the rabbit hole. It's going to happen.
Yeah. So the more you prepare yourself, the less painful it's going to be. Yeah. You may not become an alcoholic because of this. If you take my advice and take a look, the quintessential experiencer, what goes on inside of them, is something that major universities are looking at now. And once they see this stuff, they're going, oh my God, you know, so the evidence is not a picture or a video of something in my yard. The real evidence is going to be better off by a CAT scan, by what really internally goes on. You know, I know the pictures and videos, that's very entertaining, but when you have something that comes from the universe and changes you physically,
Your DNA, your DNA.
yeah, changes you physically.
Yeah.
We're into something more interesting than any movie could ever come out with.
Absolutely. And
There's,
we are co-creators of this of this reality.
yeah,
Now it's our time to put our input and create the timeline we choose to have. And for me, it's my truth, it's my timeline, and I'm going for it with
yeah.
excitement and joy. And anyone that wants to join me, we go down the rabbit hole. Karen was dragged down the rabbit hole with me. You know, I just dragged her.
But I think I've tripped up and fell in it.
No. That's the best way. That's the best way to go down the rabbit hole is to stub your toe really hard and then go face first. And when you're going face first, you got to kind of cock your neck, you know.
Yeah, I know.
That way you can smack everything on the way down, you know. Yeah, I'll tell you, Gloria, how crazy this is I'm a private citizen. I work for a living, pay my bills. I spend all of my time outside of that trying to get a little sleep and helping these poor souls go through what they're going through. And I literally have to sit down, maybe Tuesday, and draw out the longest email I've ever written in my life to the Pentagon. I have to do that. Why? You know? They're lacking in sharing information with one another, checking on these things. It's not an intelligence failure. It's an intelligence embarrassment.
Absolutely.
Where I can sit at home, and you know how terrible I am with computers, and get the information that somehow they, $22 million in the Pentagon cannot put together with a team of intelligence people. So, we give so much respect to these James Bond 007 intelligence people, but they are people and there are a lot of flaws. And, sometimes civilians have to step in and say, I know you guys don't have this information, but I've been really busy. Here you go. And that's not tooting my horn.
It's the disinformation, without naming names, is coming from every corner. Like you've got I've got to be very careful here. Ex-members of certain organizations coming out, getting invited to shows, and if you're an experiencer, you've got the BS detector, you just know, and a really good medium actually would pick it up, Karen. And they're coming in, and in between their information, I was part of this, and I was that. There's disinformation in there because you are an experiencer, and all the experiencers globally all have the same knowing and information. There's no diversity. There's no contradiction with an experiencer.
Nope.
But if you get one of these or one of these other people creating these sort of groups for something, and you listen as a genuine experiencer, if that's BS. So I'm watching clips come up of these ex-employees of certain government agencies saying, and they've infiltrated, and I'm going, oh my God, why hasn't ufology called out your name? Why have they not seen what you're doing? And I've seen them with 1 foot in ufology camp and 1 foot in government camp. And then when they go on mainstream media, the media of it finally at last will ask them, and I saw this recently, I'm paraphrasing, so don't sue me, are these ET? Are these aliens? And this person that has his foot in ufology, and at all the conferences, he gave the same, I got to correct the way I speak, the same answer as government agencies. But when he's in ufology, he says, yeah, they're real, man. They're real. And I'm going, don't, and it doesn't. I'm like, what? I can't even answer it. Does anyone see that? And so they've infiltrated, as they're releasing from the Pentagon, they're infiltrating the documentaries, the TV shows, the lives, and they're causing. And then you have a stabbing match all over social media now.
No, it drives me nuts, Gloria, because I see it all the time where they're in ufology saying, yes, this is extraterrestrial. I hate that word. Like, you and I are everything on this tiny blue rock, and everything else out there is extra. Where did you get your degree in math? I don't understand, you know. Perhaps people don't understand how big the universe is. I mean, we're finding, you know, habitable planets every day. Every single day we're finding habitable planets. But to see that is to see, you know, the true reality of its nature. You know, that a lot of people just want to go after popularity and be on screen and
ego.
Follow suit. But yeah, it is interesting to see these experts, if you will, outright write a book on the fact that this is extraterrestrial. These are not from planet Earth, and then get on the news and say, well, I'm not sure if they're, you know.
What I heard was we will have to wait to see. And I'm going, but I heard you say they are what they call and I'm just wondering, Eric, or is it just my small rabbit hole world? Does anyone else notice what's going on out there? Where it's not just the disinformation that's coming from the governments and the agencies with 3 letters, it's from these so-called ex-employees, and also what's come to my attention, and I will call it out because it has to be done, many are making vast amounts of money in giving one-to-one little interviews with the general public, has to pay these people, and they will tell them something on disclosure, and the general public are paying. Why is this being allowed? And these are going in all the conferences, and they're making this money. How is this happening? Why is no one addressing this?
Oh man, because one thing you've got to know about narcissists is that if you go against the grain, they'll attack you. And not only will they attack you, they will acquire flying monkeys to attack you. They'll
Watch
come
the
up
flying monkeys, Karen. Watch the flying monkeys.
Yeah, I think you know, I've been attacked, you know, quite a bit. I think the last rumor I heard is that I get drunk every night and beat up my wife.
Do you?
Oh,
well, there you go. Well, Karen, I'm glad I didn't marry him all them years ago. Well done.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I have to do to own up to this wonderful reputation is actually start dating. Maybe, you know, find a wife. And
you might be able to do that then. Okay.
Yeah. And then after that, I'm going to find a part-time job so I can afford alcohol. And then, I mean, I'm getting there. I'm gonna find my way. So they'll attack you, discredit you. If you go against any of the narrative or the grain, they'll do it. I mean, I've been attacked for not buying a $600 ticket, flying halfway across my country, and sitting down in a chair to listen to disinformation. You know, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. No. You know, if I ran my own conference, I sure as heck I'm not going to charge somebody $600 to listen to the truth. You know
I agree. I mean, we have that discussion. Well, not so much me, but Karen, in the realms of mediumship and the prices to know the truth. You've got to, some people would charge, won't they, extortionate amount to very poor people to get a truth. So it's not just in this area of ufology and things like that. It's in the broad spectrum, and all of this has to change. To me, I think, yeah, there's exchange of energies, that a payment or something. I get that for someone working their butt off to do something. You know, you've got to earn your bread and butter and feed your family, pay your bills. I get that. But there's a vast difference between having an exchange of energy, you do this service, I will pay you that, than the money that they're charging. And this started out after the Pentagon said, yes, they're real. And one of them, there was another one. You can talk to this person for 4 minutes, and I'm not even going to say how much they were charging. And this person is not an experiencer, and just to talk to them.
Wow.
And I'm like, what that does, Eric, is it devalues every human being who pays for it. They're saying, they're devaluing them, they're dehumanizing and saying, you can pay this money to me and make me very rich, and I can have multiple houses, and I will allow you to speak to me. I'm sorry, that's devaluing another human being.
Yeah, yeah. What I'm going to do, I think,
in anything that is sort of going on, it gets exploited.
Yes, Karen, that's the word.
By other human beings. This is what we do to each other as a race for some unknown reason. But it is, and they manipulate the truth and get you to try and believe the truth. Whereas I think, like with Gloria and Eric, it's more of this. I just want to tell you my truth.
Tell it.
And you take your own perspective on it. Does that resonate with you or not? Do you know what I mean? Whereas a lot of people will exploit it and say, no, but this is the truth. This is the truth. Yeah. Rather than saying, what is your truth?
I'll tell you what, I've worked a guesstimated 10,000 hours helping people, talking them down from suicide, saving their marriage, saving their career, roughly 10,000 hours. So I think what I'll do is go ahead and contact a constitutional lawyer and bill my government, because I don't charge people.
Yeah. Bill them for your time. I mean, as I said, it's this way that they operate, and that has been socially acceptable in society. This type of narcissism and dehumanization of the masses cannot work anymore because of contact with ET now and the expansion of consciousness. And I think it's time it was called out. Just because you work for an organization in the past, or you have a label, it doesn't mean you speak the truth. And people need to use discernment. I am seeing so the counteracting as how they're still trying to control and milk off the back. As Eric said, Karen, if you ever met an experiencer that was suicidal, when I was young, I attempted it because it wasn't in my reality. If you could ever understand the years they go through to process this reality, I'm not who I am. I don't fit in. I mean, and you make money out of someone's trauma.
Yeah.
They're making money out of people's trauma, and I'm like, no more. I can't. No, it's no more. It has to. They have to be outed, and people need to be made aware that this is happening.
Gloria, I've had friends I've had friends and family approach me saying, why don't you charge for what you do? You don't sleep. You constantly look tired. You can have a much better apartment. You could have a much better car. You just need to charge these people. And, I just want them to, why don't you get on the phone with me, since you brought this up, and watch how this happens, where someone's got a gun in their hand. They're convinced they're going to kill themselves. And then when you're done and they thank you for it, You bill them $100. You bill them $500. You know, what's their life worth? You know, how could you do that? And I'm going to take this money and what, buy a hamburger? How's that hamburger going to taste for me? You know, is the pickle, you know, is the cheese going to be melted perfectly? I mean, how is this hamburger going to taste? You know, I'd rather starve. No, you know, I do what I do out of love and compassion and you know, understanding this process. So, I don't know what the hell these people are doing, but you know, I'm going to do what I do, and
keep doing what you're doing, but just bring the awareness, because why I raised this quite passionately, as you could all tell, is because experiences are coming out now. Okay, like Karen's colleague, and God forbid they reach out to these and pay this extortionate amount of money. Let me tell you, anyone that's experienced any contact with ET or sighted a UFO, you don't have to pay for advice.
No,
you don't have to pay for an ear for someone to listen. So please don't do it. Please don't do it. You know, it's just a very passionate thing on my passionate list this week, as you can tell. We've gone well into overtime. Tried not to do it. We're well into overtime. Eric, I've got to say thank you.
Gloria, come on. The sun is just coming up. We're just getting started.
Do you know what?
6 more hours.
6 more hours. Eric, my darling, you may have a catheter on. I don't. There's a thing called a toilet that I'm going to leg it to. It's live. This is live. This is live TV. This is live. I cannot go on 6 hours. You know, you keep your catheter on.
Gloria, where's your professionalism? I'm sitting on mine right now.
I bet you are. I bet you are. My mind is elsewhere at the moment. But before we go, how dare you judge my professionalism? Did you hear that, Karen? I'm getting confused because I will disappear in a minute. This, how you know, guys, this is live and natural. There's no play acting here. Karen, before we close with Eric, is there one last thing or anything that really, before we lose him today, you want to ask him? You can bully him if you want, after what he just said. Bully him if you want, but
not really. It's just I'm just so looking forward to this this documentary, because we have access to so many different sources of information, mainly the TV, the media. But again, like we're saying, how much of that is the drip feed of it? Well, we'll tell you it's this, and we'll make this the truth, and then you'll take it as the truth. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully watching something that is, you know, a totally genuine perspective with no other motive than to help other people. So I'm really looking forward to that. So please let us know how and when we can access it.
And there is one thing I'll mention. Maybe next time on the show, I'll be able to give you a link and everything. But just as a fail-safe, I've started a website, and instead of writing down everything for myself, someone that I've known for many years and a witness, someone that's had missing time with me, that has seen my life, is writing down an entire blog from my childhood all the way up through, because what I've been through actually needs to be talked about, you know. And eventually what I want to have out there is people like us, you know, putting what happened to them, you know, over and over. I want to fill this whole thing up where, again, it's not about me, it's about we. And, you know, for the people for the first time that want to look into, you know, what is an experience or what goes on, you know, what really happens, they'll be able to access that online and read all this stuff, you know, behind the scenes. Yeah, what I've been through, you know, what people have suffered from, and the people that I work with every day, you know, they can put anonymous, they can put their name, you know, but put the information up there. And you know, a dangerous thing for me is I can go on there and do a lot of videos. And so maybe Gloria, Karen, we can jump on there and do some videos on there.
Yeah.
Just get a little videos. Yeah.
I'm up for that. You up for that, Karen? Yeah.
All right. I will call you at 5 o'clock in the morning. And
oh, Eric! I tell you what, love. If I married you, I'd divorce you now. No way.
In the background.
No 5 in the morning. You know, us, darling, us British people, we do not rise early, and I need about 6 gallons of coffee before I'm functional. Never mind anything else.
Yeah.
So. And Eric, we've got to close the show now because we're going more into overtime. We're going into the red zone, which is wonderful. And the only reason I'm stopping this show, I do need the loo, and I think, you know, we all need to move about. Life has taken over. But on a serious note, thank you so much. This has been fun. It's not even been an interview. It's been a conversation. Yeah, as it should be. And very informative for myself. I know that. And I look forward, because I've already booked you for the show when you're going to talk about experiences. And then we'll book you for when the documentary is being released. And also, just so you know, if there's any life-changing announcements from the Pentagon, if they do release anything or ask for another 180 days extension, but if they do release anything that is quite, ooh, I never saw that one coming, I will bring you back onto the show. And if you could give us your perspective and what it means, if anything. So I've already entrapped him, haven't I, Karen? Yeah.
Sorry, I have to mute him because the house is very active now. I've got various people in the house, so.
Okay, it's fine. On that note, Eric, you will now go to the naughty room. Okay.
Yeah, I'll put you in the naughty room. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
so much. I know it's very early, so thank you.
My pleasure, ladies.
Oh, guys, everybody, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for those that will watch this broadcast later on down the road. Not an issue. Thank you, Karen, for co-hosting. It's been amazing. Keep sending your husband to work on Sundays. You know, just tell him how wonderful he is. And just a reminder, next week we have the lovely, she is absolutely amazing, beautiful soul, Ray Dove, who will be joining us to share her experience, contact experience, and the positive impact it has had upon her. And again, experiences will talk, and we will talk about current affairs as well. So we're trying to bring current affair issues into the live show as our guests come on, so we can share the information with you, because obviously it's limited what you can receive off the TV and the mainstream media. And on that note, thank you, Karen. It's goodbye from her.
And goodbye from me. Which one it is?
I love the craziness. You know, me and Chris nailed it. I don't even recall what we said, but we thought it was funny. Who cares? Thank you, everybody, for joining the show. And we'll see you next week at 5 p.m. Sunday, the 6th of June. We go live at 5 p.m. next week. So Karen and Chris and myself can have a lay-in knot. See you next Sunday, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.